Improvement Pill here. When I first started my NoFap journey, I actually documented my experiences in a journal. I had amazing streaks where I not only abstained from porn and masturbation, but ejaculation as well, mainly because I was single. And I recorded all of the benefits I saw whenever they came up. So because No Nut November is coming around again, I decided to dig up my old journal entries to give you an idea of what benefits I saw throughout this journey. Hopefully, this will motivate and inspire some of you to take on this challenge because it genuinely changed my life, and I know it can do the same for you if you give it a try. This is the NoFap/No Nut November benefit timeline. The first 48 hours, days 1 and 2. Okay, so this was always the toughest period for me. The urges were strong, and there was always a ton of brain fog. I had a hard time thinking clearly, and I found myself stuttering a lot during conversations. This was actually the period of time that I relapsed the most into, especially if I stayed indoors and didn't have any plans for the day. Because there's so much brain fog, I had less self-awareness. So I didn't even notice myself slipping into the state that ultimately caused me to relapse many times. It almost felt like I didn't know what I was doing until I had already done it. The only benefits I really saw in the first 48 hours would be an increase in my brain's clarity as the fog slowly started to fade away. My most effective strategy during this time was to physically get out of the house, go to the gym, go see a friend, go do some errands, go do some work or study at the local Starbucks, because staying in the house all day usually meant I would relapse again. The next 48 hours, also known as days 3 and 4. The next 2 days, days 3 and 4, came with some pretty noticeable benefits. The most apparent was a significant boost to my levels of self-esteem. I usually felt bad about what I had done the first 2 days after a relapse. I would have thoughts like, I'm such a failure. Why am I so weak? I'm pathetic. And this wasn't a good thing because whenever I was outside at a social outing, my levels of confidence were pretty much non-existent because of these thoughts. It was so bad that I would come up with excuses to skip out on these events because of all the guilt and shame. But when I reached days 3 and 4, I found that those thoughts became much less common. And this meant that I was a lot more confident in myself. I found myself doing much better during social interactions. I found myself being able to hold longer eye contact. I was more lively. I had more fun. And it seemed like others enjoyed my company more than usual. Days 5 and 6. It's around this point where my energy levels started to become noticeably higher. It became much easier to jump out of bed and get the day started. I found myself being able to accomplish most of the tasks I had set out to do for the day before the day was over. When I was off the wagon, when I was in periods of relapse, I usually struggled with sticking to all the other good habits that I knew I should have been sticking to, like meditation, reading, and going to the gym. But upon reaching days 5 and 6, I actually wanted to educate myself. I actually wanted to lift heavy things. I actually wanted to improve my mental strength. I actually wanted to get things done. My self-esteem continued to grow at this point as I noticed myself having even less negative thoughts throughout the day. And as I started feeling proud of all the things that I was able to accomplish every day. Day 7. Now, this is a very special day with very noticeable benefits. A Chinese study actually found that for some reason, on day 7 from abstaining from any form of ejaculation, our testosterone levels spiked to 145% of their baseline levels. And boy, oh boy, this extra 45% is definitely noticeable. Most people would expect one to feel more hot-headed and aggressive with all that extra testosterone. But honestly, it didn't feel like that. The best way to describe day 7 for me is, in charge. Like the kingpin of a mob. Like you know everything is going to go your way. And that the world is your oyster. I found myself taking more initiative, going out of my way to make plans with others, setting up parties, asking people to come eat with me, and re-sparking conversations with childhood friends that I haven't spoken to in a while. There was a strong sense of calm that enveloped my entire being whenever I got to around day 7 and day 8. One of my journal entries recalls a day where I had to give a 20-minute presentation in front of class all by myself. This was something that usually would have made me very nervous, but that day I felt nothing. I wasn't scared whatsoever. It was just another walk in the park. Days 7 and 8 were also where I started taking more initiative with my dating life. Another journal entry recalls an experience where I was working out at the gym and I spotted a cute girl and I literally could not stop myself from going up to her and chatting her up. It felt wrong to not talk to her. Like I said, it felt like the world is your oyster, like everything was going to go your way. So all the self-doubt that would have usually filled my head in moments like this they were non-existent. One very important thing to note is that the urges on day 7 and 8 are incredibly erratic. They came in intense waves throughout the day. I always had to get out of the house and spend the majority of the day outside in order to make sure I could make it past those 2 days. And unfortunately, after day 7 and 8, most of these benefits would seemingly disappear overnight. But think of it as a teaser for what truly awaits you if you continue on this journey. 2 weeks in. About 2 weeks in, I started to develop what I like to call social balls of steel. I became extremely confident when it came to social interactions. I found myself holding prolonged eye contact with people. I also found myself saying whatever came to mind. I became more blunt and honest with those around me, not being scared to state how I truly felt about things or how I truly felt about someone. And this actually led to deeper conversations, as people were more willing to share their true feelings and whatever was going on in their mind with me. To top that off, the urge to talk to people in general would increase drastically. I found myself sparking random conversations with almost every single person that was in my vicinity, in the elevator, on the bus, on the train. It didn't matter. If they were next to me for an extended period of time, I was going to start some sort of conversation with them. Now, before I tell you about the amazing benefits I saw around the 1 month mark, I do want to quickly tell you about a free training that I'll be hosting next week, where I'll be sharing with you exactly how I was able to overcome my bad addictions, and also how I was able to build life-changing habits that actually stuck around. All you have to do is sign up for my mailing list to receive updates about this training using the link down below. And don't worry if you're watching this video at a later time, because I plan on hosting this training a couple of times every single year. So if you sign up late, you'll get notified in a couple of months about the next time I host the training. Back to the topic at hand. At the 1 month mark. Man, oh man, my favorite thing about making it to the 1 month mark is the crystal clear mental clarity. You don't know what being smooth is like until you reach 1 month. The wit and mental acrobatics that I started being able to pull off during conversations would always come in at around this point in my journey. I've had a lot of students comment on my ability to go on 40-minute monologues without ever having to pause a single time to think about what to say next. That's what I mean by mental acrobatics. I found myself having an instant, clever response to just about anything that people threw my way. I found myself being able to flirt with anyone without any hesitation. I found myself being able to have deep conversations with complete strangers in the matter of minutes. I was smooth as butter. But that's not all. It's around the 1 month mark where the benefits that I got a taste of on day 7 came back. My confidence was sky high. I started to believe I could do anything if I put my mind to it. I felt like I was in control of my life and the world around me. My productivity levels also skyrocketed. I was able to knock off all the tasks I knew I had to complete before noon. Essays, reading assignments, and the like were all done way before they were actually due. And unlike after day 7, this time the benefits actually stuck around. 2 months to 3 months. The majority of the most noticeable benefits plateaued at around the 1 month mark. To be honest, I don't think I ever got any more productive or confident past that point. But at around the 2 to 3 month mark, I always started doing a lot better with the ladies without even having to try. I remember going to a house party and I somehow ended up with a girl who was an entire head taller than me. She was so much taller that she had to bend down to kiss me. I felt like a kid being kissed goodbye on my first day of school. And this was definitely weird because girls who are even just a bit taller than me usually never bothered to look my way. But 2 to 3 months in, there I was. There was also another instance where I was invited to a karaoke event with like 10 to 15 other people. And a chick from across the room, the most attractive girl in that entire room, who all the other guys were trying to chat up, she had her friend come up to me and tell me that she wanted to get my number. These instances might have been caused by the fact that they saw me cracking jokes with everyone around me and the fact that I was having a lot of fun. I don't really know, because in all of these instances and the many others I haven't mentioned, I didn't really have to put in much effort. It almost seemed like they were magnetically attracted to me. It was almost like magic. The most success with girls I've ever had in my life was when I managed to reach the 2 to 3 month mark. And to be completely honest, I'm not really going to talk about the benefits I saw past this point for 2 main reasons. The first is that I didn't really see any more benefits. The confidence, the productivity, the mental acrobatics, the urge to socialize, and the general boost in levels of happiness all pretty much plateaued at this point. But don't take this the wrong way. This was more than enough. Life was good. Actually, no. Life was amazing whenever I got this far. The second reason is that I've only ever managed to venture past 3 months without any form of ejaculation once in my entire life. Because I always managed to get a girlfriend before the 3-month mark was over. So I can't really tell you too much about the benefits of no nut after that. Plus, the one time I went past 3 months, it honestly just felt the same for me. But I will say one thing. If I relapsed at any point in time throughout this entire journey, I would lose practically all of the benefits overnight and have to start from day one all over again. And by relapse, I mean watching porn, masturbating, and ejaculating like that. Wet dreams and sex did not reset the benefits for me. It took me more than 3 years of trial and error to finally shake this addiction. If you want to learn more about the exact strategy I used to overcome it once and for all, make sure you sign up for my email list using the link down below so you can get news on my free training. Besides that, guys, I hope this video has been insightful and inspiring for some of you. If you are someone who indulges in this form of pleasure very often, I suggest you try staying away from it for just a week. You'll get a glimpse of what's waiting for you on the other side. A glimpse of the good life.